Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business. Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Fantasy sports is huge right now, but a lot of sites offer you the same games and tournaments when you sign on. But now there's something special out there. It's a platform where you can build your teams with present-day athletes, but also you can build your team with athletes from past eras. Hey, how often can you put Hall of Famers on your fantasy team? The name of the platform is called Legacy Fantasy Sports, and we're going to hear all about it because we're going to talk to one of its co-founders, John Latella. For all you fantasy sports fans out there, you're definitely going to want to hear all about this brand new platform with its cutting-edge technology. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
You, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Where was the house? Where was the House of Cards?
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. I'm a huge fan of fantasy sports. That's why I'm excited to talk to our next guest. He is one of the creators of something incredibly unique in fantasy sports. The name of the platform is called Legacy Fantasy Sports, and it allows you to build rosters from today's players as well as players from the past. It's an amazing idea, and we're going to find out all about it because on the line we have the co-founder of Legacy Fantasy Sports, John Latella. John, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dave. I appreciate it.
I got to tell you, Legacy Fantasy Sports is an absolutely incredible idea. Tell us about the evolution of this platform. How did this idea come into being?
So, it goes back to kind of the age-old question that everybody's had, or at least most sports fans have had, right? Is this player better than that player? And we're from Detroit, so we'll use Barry Sanders as the example. Was Barry Sanders a better running back than Jim Brown? And if you were able to use Barry Sanders in a fantasy sports lineup, how would he fare compared to others? So that's how the concept evolved. And then literally it was a little bit of brainstorming. My partner or co-founder Grady Toombs and I, we got together and conceptually figured, is this, first of all, can we do this, right? Has it been done before and somebody tried to do it? Luckily for us, we found out that a couple have tried on a different level, but nobody's been able to pull it off until we came along. So, and here we are.
Tell me something about the company itself. I mean, who's involved with Legacy Fantasy Sports? Because I read the bio of the company, and you have some pretty familiar names in sports that every sports fan around the country will recognize. Who's involved with Legacy Fantasy Sports?
So we have some amazing partners. So one of our other co-founders is Herman Moore, who,
Sure.
if you're a Detroit sports fan, you know that Herman was an all-pro wide receiver for the Detroit Lions back in the 90s. So Herman's one of our partners, co-founders. We also coach Bob Stoops, who was the lead analyst this past season for Fox News or Fox Big Noon Kickoff, and the former Oklahoma Sooners, Hall of Fame coach, and now I believe he's an XFL coach. He's also a partner. Gary Gilbert, who is a co-owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers and one of the co-founders of Quicken Loans, is another one of our partners. We've got a pretty good roster of partners and people that are involved that love the concept and what we have to offer.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty about how you actually play on Legacy Fantasy Sports, talk to me about the technology involved. I was telling you off the air, I know it's cutting edge because it's patent pending, so you know that's always state-of-the-art technology. Tell us something about that technology being used on the platform.
Sure, I'll give you the actual Cliff Notes version of it.
Okay.
So, traditional fantasy sports, right? You're required, or you're restricted by live gameplay. You have to have a live game that you're pulling the stats or the statistics from right at that given point in time. Mm-hmm. So what we've done is we've actually patented the process through some of our proprietary logarithms that allow us to pull historical play-by-play data from retired players. So take Herman Moore, for example, one of our partners. Mm-hmm. So let's say Herman's got 5,000 career plays in his catalog of plays. Our logarithm will go in and randomly select individual plays, not games, actual individual plays from his career, and input it into the exact fantasy format that all of us are used to when we're playing fantasy sports. So that's kind of the secret sauce in a Cliff Notes version of it. Obviously, it gets more. I'm not the tech guy, so it gets more deeply involved with that, and a lot of zeros and ones and a lot of programming. But that's kind of it in a nutshell.
I love the fact that virtual sporting events are involved. Does that mean that people can play 24 hours a day on the site? I mean, since you're not really like hemmed in by it needing a live event taking place.
We can create live sporting events on demand.
Wow.
Which means 100% what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's take NFL football, for example, where if you're taking it to the game level, there's really only 77 days of games a year. We now can create games 24/7, 365 days a year for you to be able to play fantasy football. And you can play. Here's the really cool thing, right? When the season's in play, you can actually play all live if you want, like traditional fantasy.
Great.
You can have a hybrid lineup. So you could have a lineup that, let's say you're starting Tom Brady at quarterback this week, and you could pair him with Antonio Gates as your tight end and Barry Sanders as your running back. Or if you just want to play during off time when there is no games, like we were just talking about, mm-hmm. you can literally play, again, 24/7, 365. And so then when you're looking, if you want to play not only from the game side of it, so if you have a favorite player that's retired now, mm-hmm. You can use him, you could play him. They probably wouldn't be happy if it was in real life. You could play him 1,000 times in a season if you wanted to.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly. Ding dong, Drizzly.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with the co-founder of Legacy Fantasy Sports, John Latella. Now, when people are picking former players, I want to ask you, what are the era are they choosing from? How far back do you go?
So that's the interesting thing, right? So historical play-by-play data, we are somewhat restricted in terms of how far back they started keeping that. So the NFL is pretty good. We go back to 1997 for the NFL. Major League Baseball is actually really exciting. We go all the way back to 1974 for that.
Wow, okay.
NBA basketball, I believe we go back to about 2002. So still, there's a pretty large depth of obviously players that go back that far. But it's pretty exciting in terms of who you're able to use and the rosters that you can build out.
I got to tell you, I absolutely love this idea. Are there rules that you have in place where people have to pick a certain number of modern players and a certain number of former players? I'm actually asking for myself because I'm dying to try this. I can't wait to create a team. Now, are there rules about how a team is made up?
No. So you can literally, like I said, if you wanted to play, if take the Super Bowl, for example, when we just had the Super Bowl, the Rams, when the Rams were playing it, I actually had built out a hybrid lineup where, you know, again, as a Detroit sports fan, we had come to the realization that we were never going to see Calvin Johnson matched up with Matthew Stafford for a Super Bowl, but I was able to do it with my lineup for that game. So yeah, you could literally choose an entire, what we call legacy lineup if you want, and pair that with, or have a full live lineup if you want. You can do either or. That's the beauty of it. And we think that's what's going to be, you know, the big draw to people that, for traditional people that like to play fantasy sports and kind of want to do it just for the fun of it, right? That's what we're hoping to bring back into it. It's not necessarily, we're not a sports betting platform. So we're doing this for essentially the love of the game, right? It's just for the love of the game and those that love the competition and be able to play out and play with some of their favorite players of all time and their current favorite players.
Now, anytime I talk to a fantasy sports player, one of their big concerns whenever they enter a contest is if their player gets injured. I mean, certainly if there's a game time decision where that person will play. And in this day and age, COVID's a big concern on whether a player will be allowed to play in a game. There was even a concern about a baseball strike a couple of months ago. Now, that's not a concern if you're playing on legacy fantasy sports, right? I mean, you're pretty much injury proof, right?
We are 100% injury proof, and actually we took it even a step further.
Okay.
We have actually, the technology we're utilizing, you can actually utilize substitutions in your lineup as well. And what we mean by that is, so if you have a live player playing and you have another, in football you have 5 essential players on your bench. If you have another live player, let's say it's a quarterback, on your bench, any given time during that game, if he gets injured or you just don't like the way that, you know, he's playing this week, you can substitute him in for a live player, or you can substitute a legacy player for a legacy player. There is no worries whatsoever. And actually, another perfect example was the Super Bowl, right? When OBJ got hurt he was out of the game, I was able to sub him out with another live wide receiver that I had on the bench. So it didn't affect me at all in terms of I wasn't stuck at 0 or you know, whatever was going to happen after that fact. I was able to insert somebody that was going to score some points the rest of the way.
I'm glad you brought this up about the you're not really limited by the time frame of a season. So I'm a big fan of fantasy football. So I can play all year round, correct?
100%. Play whenever you want. We could be playing right now.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, let me ask you about some of the other things I saw on your site. You have a game on your site called the Triathlon. And this is some other more patent-pending technology, so you're not going to find this game or anything like it on any other site. Tell me about Triathlon and how do people play it?
So the other thing with obviously with us being able to create on-demand live sporting events, it's the first time ever and we're the first platform ever that you can actually, So we're playing, what we mean by triathlon is you can play 3 different sports.
Wow.
So you can have a roster, and I believe it's 3-3-2. Yeah, actually it's 3-3-2. So you'll pick 3 players from the NFL, 3 players from Major League Baseball, and 2 from the NBA, or you could switch that variation up. And you can mix and match. So when the seasons potentially do overlap, there is a small time of the year where they do. You could effectively be playing all live, or you could have 3 legacy or retired NFL players playing with 3 NBA guys who are alive, and then playing with 3 Major League Baseball retired players. And that's what we call our triathlon game. First time. So it's essentially combining, 3 of the major sports: Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL. Once we had hockey, soccer. Once we had soccer, you'll be able to play these hybrid lineups with different players, which is kind of cool. Where you can bring it all together into one contest.
You also have a college alumni matchups. Tell us something about that, because that was very intriguing to me. How can people play that game?
So that's really cool too. So what we did there is we've parsed it out where you can literally set the filter within the game where you can draft players or utilize players based on what conference they played in.
Wow.
So what our mindset was with that was, like, let's say a ESPN college game day, and I'll use, being that we're from Michigan, let's say when Michigan plays Michigan State, right?
Yep.
You'll be able to pick a roster of Michigan players that just played for the University of Michigan or players that just played for Michigan State, and then have them play out maybe on that same weekend. Or you could do, let's say bowl games when the bowl season comes up. You could pick a roster of players that are just that played for SEC teams versus a roster of players that just played for Big Ten teams. And then the really cool thing that we're going to be able to do, and we haven't launched soccer or NHL or some of these other sports yet, but let's take soccer, for example, with like La Liga and Bundesliga, all these different leagues. You'll be able to pick players that traditionally haven't been able to play together or haven't played together, and you'll be able to put them on the same roster across league through the same concept that we've created with the conference matchups.
Well, you mentioned the sports that you're offering. What sports are you offering now, and what sports do you plan on adding as time goes on?
So right now we're fully live with NFL. Major League Baseball right now is both live and legacy. Football is legacy. We will be adding NBA very soon. The next sport that's going to be coming on in terms of everything, shockingly enough, is going to be cricket. Cricket is the largest sport in the world, and fantasy cricket in India it dwarfs every other sport out there.
Okay.
Soccer. So all within the next 12 weeks, we should have soccer, cricket, NHL, golf. I'm trying to think. Potentially softball. Potentially, really any sport you can think of, we're probably going to be adding in some capacity as long as there's historical play-by-play data available.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from House of Cards with your House of Cards Gaming Report for the week of June 27, 2022. A new study found that a record number of people participate in fantasy sports and sports betting. The study conducted by the Fantasy Sports and Gaming Association found that over 60 million people bet on sports, which is 25% of the adult population of the U.S., and 50.4 million people play fantasy sports. The study is based on the responses from 2,000 U.S. adults over the age of 18 years old and was conducted online during a 12-day period in May. The National Council on Problem Gambling licensed the 800 gambler mark from the Council on Compulsive Gambling of New Jersey with a little help from the National Football League. The move is the first step for a new national helpline which will be used across the United States. The NFL contributed around $6.2 million to the cause, which will help improve data collection, reporting, and call center technology. And finally, NBA great Paul Pierce is being sued over poker. Stephen Carmona alleged that in January he lent Pierce $150,000 to play in a poker game. Carmona stated that Pierce lost $140,000 of that in the game and only returned $10,000 of the loan. The suit also alleges Pierce owes an additional $40,000 that Carmona lent him the very next week. Note to self, don't lend Paul Pierce money for poker. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on Twitter at HOC Radio.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Your Majesty, the royal wrestlers await.
I'll bet on the little guy. How much? 3,000 guineas, 2 geese, and a duck. That's a foul bet.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with the co-founder of Legacy Fantasy Sports, John Latella. What has been the response for Legacy Fantasy Sports? I mean, you mentioned it before, and the first thing I thought of when looking at the site is, wow, this is going to be solving that age-old sports argument about which generation had the best players. What are the response for the that you've been getting for your players?
So from people we've talked to, people that we've launched it to, they absolutely love the concept. I think the one thing we're going to need to do just a little bit, because, you know, sports betting and, you know, the gaming, and just, for example, in Michigan, sports betting was just legalized in the past year here. And I think everyone's been so conditioned that FanDuel and the DraftKings and all the other platforms that are out there, that they're all sports gaming and betting sites. We made a conscious decision to kind of go the opposite direction, and we're a subscription service. Mm-hmm. So live gameplay is free, and then if you want to be able to play with legacy or retired players, it's a $2.99 a month subscription fee. Mm-hmm. And the reason we did that is because we wanted to open it up where kids and parents and moms and dads could play with their kids, or grandparents with their kids. If you happen to be in the military or something and you're around the world, based on being able to, you know, set up games and play games whenever with your kids. So we're not restricted. We're not age restricted by any means. So kids can have our platform or have our app on their phone and be able to play with their friends. Not during school, I'll say that. But they could have a game running during school and then check and see what the score is after school. But no, we kind of opened it up, so we're really not restricted by any of the legal restrictions that are out there in terms of gambling or gaming, and then age restrictions too that exist out there.
In the news, we see professional sports teams or leagues making deals with fantasy sports platforms. Does Legacy Fantasy Sports have any plans to pursue deals with sports teams or leagues? Because I got to tell you, it seems like your platform would be the perfect partnership with a league, especially like something like the Football or Baseball Hall of Fame. You could actually have Hall of Famers on your roster, and I think that would be amazing. Does Legacy Fantasy Sports have any plans approaching the leagues, or have you been approached by the leagues?
So 100%, I can say that I've been speaking to. We're potentially going to have a deal, we've been talking to the NFLPA We do have a meeting with the NFL coming up. We believed early on, and you nailed it, Dave. We talked about it early on. We thought the perfect place for our platform to reside was at the league level for everyone.
Sure.
The NBA with the NBA, MLB with baseball with MLB, and football with the NFL. It's a perfect fan engagement tool. And that's the other thing when we built it out. We have so many opportunities with the B2B side of it, the business to business, as well as the business directly to the consumer side of it. There's so many different opportunities we have in terms of events we can hold and playing games out. I mean, we can recreate, if you think about it from an NFL standpoint, I can recreate every Super Bowl going back to, I said, 1997. And have different era and different years Super Bowl teams play each other.
Now, I know a lot of sports betting operators who have been interested in daily fantasy sports platforms. I mean, the other year we had Monkey Knife Fight on the show before they were picked up by Bally's. Could that be a possible future for Legacy Fantasy Sports, becoming involved with a sports betting operator?
Well, my answer is yes. At the beginning when we first started down this journey, we were going that route too until we pivoted to go the non-sports betting way. Mm-hmm. But in the same token, we're still cognizant, and we're business guys at heart, and we're entrepreneurs at heart.
Sure.
So we designed the platform to be fully UIGEA compliant. The Unlawful Internet Gaming Enforcement Act.
Yep.
So technically, if one of these, FanDuel, DraftKings, Monkey Knife Fight, Underdog, one of these other platforms that was out there that was looking to monetize the other ton of days a year that currently they can't because there are no live sporting events, we have legal advisory opinions that says that we're UIGEA compliant and that the platform could be used in a gaming and or sports betting sense.
So tell people how they can start playing Legacy Fantasy Sports. Where would they go to download the app, or how they go about building their roster?
So we are in the Apple iOS store. We are in the Google Play Store. So Legacy Fantasy Sports, as you said, is the name of it. They can go there. They can download it. When you get to the app, we do have some tutorial videos that are out there. It's a little bit different if you're used to a FanDuel or DraftKings because you are toggling between potentially whether you're going to be playing a live game or playing a legacy game. As we speak, we're currently, we're always looking to make the user experience and the user interface better. We're currently updating that as we speak to make that better and easier for the players to be able to play. But we put public contests out there every day. Right now, there, you can get into a public contest and play and see how you do against others. We have leaderboards. We keep a leaderboard for all four of the triathlon, the baseball, the basketball. Mm-hmm. So you can see how you match up with other people. And then very soon, too, we're going to be launching our point system. Essentially, what you'll be able to do is you'll get points for entering and playing in contests. And then as well as you start winning contests, you'll be able to redeem those points and those rewards for, maybe certain swag, hats, T-shirts, NFTs, autographs from certain players, and things like that.
So in terms of growth for Legacy Fantasy Sports, what are your plans for the future? Where do you hope to see Legacy Fantasy Sports in a year from now?
In a year from now, I would hope that we're the premier, non-sports betting fantasy platform out there. I think that with the market, as we know, there's well over, probably 65, 70 million people just in the North America alone now playing fantasy sports. And then you have 100 million in India. So we would see ourselves as being the number one premier for fun, fan engagement, and enjoyment fantasy sports platform out there.
John, we're running out of time, but can you give out a website again where people can check out Legacy Fantasy Sports and where they can download the app?
Sure, legacyfantasysports.com. If you want to just take that, that's just essentially our landing page. Or Legacy Fantasy Sports is available in the Apple iOS store or in the Google Play Store. So whether you have an Android phone or an Apple product, you can get the product, download it, and we'd love to see you there and play some games with you.
John Latella, co-founder of Legacy Fantasy Sports, thanks so much for coming on and telling us about your incredible fantasy sports platform. Legacy Fantasy Sports, I think, is one of the most unique platforms out there, and I can't wait to give it a try. Thanks for coming on and telling us about it.
Dave, thank you for having me. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
It's a casino. People got to win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beat the House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of Beating the House, where we're going to crisscross the country going through the different casino jackpots that have been reported by the casino properties, the lottery commissions, the bingo parlors, the poker rooms, what have you. If there's a winner, we're going to talk about it. And keep those press releases coming into the show, info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and we'll keep doing this segment. As I say every week, every time we do this segment, invariably we learn about a new game or an old game we hadn't heard of that, has been paying out lately. So keep them coming in, and we really do enjoy doing this segment. We're going to start off in Vegas.
All right.
Usually we start off in Vegas, and as a matter of fact,
Sure.
I'm looking through my notes right now, and most of our reports are going to be coming out of Nevada this week. This is a Nevada-centric, almost Nevada-centric. We got a bunch in Jersey as well, as a matter of fact.
Well, Las Vegas, I think the population swelled because the poker players are in town for the World Series of Poker, and, sometimes they throw a little money into the slots. Well, I don't know if there are poker players on your list.
There are no poker players on my list, so toss that statement out.
Okay.
Yes. Now, again, we're going to start off with the Harrah's Las Vegas.
Well, as far as we know, no poker players.
Right, exactly.
So.
Some of these could be.
Yeah.
Harrah's Las Vegas. We're going to start off with a visitor from Arizona. He plans to buy a home after winning the mega progressive jackpot on Ultimate Texas Hold'em.
Okay.
At Harrah's Las Vegas. This was on Sunday morning. No time was actually given.
So he's going to buy a home. How much did he win?
$918,430.
You can buy more than
buy multiple homes.
One home after that one. Yeah.
He hit a Diamond Royal Flush.
Wow.
To win the $430. But again, no word on what the size of the bet was. I'm very curious when you see these numbers. I'm very curious to see exactly how much they bet on these.
Well, look, I mean,
it's just curiosity on my part.
You have to bet a certain amount to win a certain amount.
Yes.
So I'm sure he didn't bet $918,000.
No. I'm just wondering if this was like a $5 bet that just multiplied
or 50 or 100
or whatever.
It was still worth it.
Yeah, no,
it was still a good investment.
If you're getting almost $1 million, it's worth it.
Sure.
So whatever you bet, that's fine. But I was just curious. It wasn't reported. So
it's a good question.
Yeah.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm a giant, colorful chick to deposit.
Beating the House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Why don't you continue what you were saying before the break?
Staying in Nevada, we're going to Henderson this time. We're going to the Sunset Station in Henderson, Nevada. They're celebrating, by the way, their 25th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
This happened during their 25th anniversary weekend.
Oh, hey, great.
This was...
You can't buy publicity like a big jackpot. And especially your 25th anniversary and a big jackpot, good for them.
The casino opened June 10th, 1997, and like I said, they're celebrating their 25th anniversary, and it was the 25th anniversary weekend celebration that this happened.
Okay.
We have Wendy P. visiting from Kauai, Hawaii.
Kauai.
Did I say? Did I do that?
Kauai.
I'm looking at my notes.
No,
and I'm just reading it off there, and I
Kauai.
accidentally said it that way. Kauai, Hawaii. She bet $1.25 on Saturday, this past Saturday, to hit a Wheel of Fortune triple gold jackpot for $689,200.
See, now you know the size of the bet. $1.25.
That one I like seeing because
that's great.
$1.25 on it was a Saturday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
What was that, Wheel of Fortune?
Wheel of Fortune triple gold. That's
it seems
another
like
variation.
Every week we have a Wheel of Fortune jackpot.
Yes. If we're talking brick and mortar, it's more often than not a Wheel of Fortune or one of the Buffalo games.
Well, look, there's so many variations of these things. I mean, chances are, you're going to hit big. You're going to hit on one of the hundreds of variations of these slot games.
Well, a lot of times these casinos have multiple banks of all these different variations on one theme. The Wheel of Fortune, I don't think I've ever seen Wheel of Fortune all together, all the different variations. I mean, I've been walking through the casinos, and you see Wheel of Fortune triple gold someplace, and you see Wheel of Fortune, whatever you want to call it, in the next area, but not in one bank like they do at Lightning Link or the Buffaloes.
Let me tell you, I like online because if you're looking for a game manufacturer, they have them split up into the game. I mean, you can search IGT, and they have all the IGT games for you if you want.
Yeah, and also I think a lot of the online casinos now have Ainsworth games too. They have special sections for Ainsworth. So, there's a whole different things. Online's a different animal than brick and mortar, and there are different variations of these games between the brick and mortar and the online, especially Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, I've never seen so many.
That and Monopoly.
Yes.
Yeah, tons of them.
Then you add in the Wheel of Fortune Megaways, the Monopoly Megaways, the Divine Fortune Megaways now. Yeah. So, there's a whole different thing. But $689,200 and 47 cents.
Oh, okay.
On a $1.25 bet on the Wheel of Fortune triple gold at Sunset Station during their 25th anniversary celebration.
Wow.
Staying in Vegas, or going back to Vegas, we're going to the Aliante Casino. Massive six-figure jackpot.
Okay.
Guest who lived in the area for over a decade played IGT's Game King video poker game with sequential Royal Flush progressives. That's a mouthful right there.
Boy.
Tuesday afternoon at 2:30.
I wonder if that's one of those games where you're sitting at the bar and you're playing the video poker.
2:30 in the afternoon, I would assume.
Outside of the bar, but I've never played video poker outside sitting on a bar.
I just wonder why it's 2 in the afternoon is starting to hit for everybody.
Hey, maybe that's the good time to do it.
Yeah, maybe they're kind of set up to have some kind of.
We got to get a slot expert and ask them when, or ask
best
that
time
person
of day to play. Yes.
When's the best time to play.
Well, the Las Vegas local was playing like I said, the IGT's Game King video poker. Now, remember that game,
all right?
Because it's going to come into play later on in this segment too.
Oh, okay.
He made a $5 wager.
Oh, you got the amount.
Exactly. That's what I like. I like seeing that. Then the winner hit a rare sequential Royal Flush jackpot totaling $314,911.
Wow, that's great.
Yes. And according to the resident who chose to remain anonymous, he'd been playing on the same bank of video poker machines for years. And he's won a couple Royal Flushes, but nothing this big before.
See, that's great. It's always great when, the regulars win. They're putting
for
in the time.
A decade-long regular, yeah. That's good to see.
They're giving Aliante Casino
Yes.
business and things like that. It's good. It's a bit of a payback.
Well, we're going to stay in Las Vegas. Now, we've got 2 Caesars Rewards members playing the same game as the guy in that previous story.
Wow, what? The
yes.
Game King
Game
thing?
King Video Poker.
Okay, Game King
both
Video
Caesars Rewards guests. And now I'm starting to wonder because I saw this, both Bally's and Caesars Palace, both tweeted this out. Different angles on the machine. So I don't know if it's the same story.
Huh, okay.
Because a Caesars Rewards member in both places, according to the tweets, hit a $100,000 jackpot playing the Game King video poker machine.
Well, what I'm getting out of this story is I got to look for the Game King video poker because it
pays out.
It's given out.
Yes. Well, there's either 2 or 3 winners.
Okay,
Game
2 or 3 winners.
I don't know how Bally's and Caesars Palace work their tweets or their social media, but again, Game King Video Poker.
See, that's one of those things I write down. Game King Video Poker. I'll check it out.
It's actually one of the classic video poker machines.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think most places have.
So chances are I've probably played it.
If you were sitting at a bar, I think you played.
Okay.
It.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, while you're sitting there doing your drinks, you're
doing my drinks,
doing your drinks,
getting my drink on.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, Game King's everywhere.
All right.
Let's see. I think before I get away from the slot machines, I have a list of New Jersey jackpots.
Oh, all right.
Over the last 2 weeks, I do this every 2 weeks.
So every 2 weeks, you just
I'm going to put these in front of me.
This
so
media dump of Jersey jackpots. Huh?
We have 15 jackpots of $100,000 or more in the last 2 weeks.
So
in Atlantic City.
These
actually say New Jersey because they're online and brick and mortar.
Okay, I was going to say, are these both online and brick and mortar?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to start off. I'm going to read these because I got a whole list of them here. May 13th on Play MGM Casino, we have a $100,000 jackpot on the BWin MGM Grand Millions. That's another online slot that's specifically designed for MGM's website.
Yeah. Okay.
Going to resorts. We haven't seen a resorts Atlantic City jackpot in a while. $100,000 playing IGT's Top Dollar machine. It was actually the high roller machine. It was the $100 denomination machine.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. We're going to Borgata brick and mortar. $200,000 on a IGT bonus poker machine. Mm-hmm. So another video poker winner. Going to DraftKings.com. $110,423.08 playing Divine Fortune.
Okay.
Divine Fortune pays out again.
That's a fun game to play.
Going to Tropicana. This is brick and mortar now. $171,500 on May 21st playing IGT's Crystal Sevens. Mm-hmm. Now, last time I did this, we had 2 or 3 jackpots on Crystal Sevens.
I remember that name.
So $171,000 this time. Going to PlayMGM.com, we have 2 on the same day at PlayMGM.com and 1 at Borgata Brick and Mortar, all on the same day. We have $174,772 playing the Mirage Mega Magma on PlayMGM.
All right.
Never heard of that game before, but I've seen it.
Okay.
I've never played it. I've heard of it, but I've never played it. $100,000 playing Evolution's Borgata Slingo Extreme with the triple X's.
Okay.
If you've been to Borgata's website, the online casino has an entire section on Slingo games.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, they have an entire Slingo area.
Slingo, okay.
Yes. Going to BetfairCasino.com, which is also part of FanDuel at Stardust. $100,900 jackpot playing Turn Your Fortune Touch. Another online game.
All right.
Borgata Brick and Mortar on May 22nd, $100,185 playing the Lightning Cash Happy Lantern. And if I remember correctly, the Lightning Cash Happy Lantern is a Halloween-themed game.
Oh, really?
It's with the jack-o'-lanterns on it.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
All right.
May 24th, BaliCasino.com. Scientific Games, Jinjiao Bao Ji Endless Treasures. One of the Oriental-themed games, obviously, by that name. $100,000 even. Going to the next stop on our list here, we have at Play Sugar House. We haven't done Play Sugar House too much.
Yeah.
$100,000 playing IGT Double Diamond, which is the online version of the classic slot machine.
Okay.
We've got over on May 30th, 3 jackpots on PlayMGMCasino.com, all playing the same game.
Really?
The Green Machine Deluxe.
I've never heard of that one. I don't even know what that is. Is that a slot machine?
It's a slot machine.
Okay.
These are three jackpots, and actually 2 are only over 100,000. One's under it, but I had to include it because it's all the same game. Could be the same player.
Okay.
For all I know.
All right. Well,
$174,560, $160,160, and $55,680. All playing High Fives, the Green Machine Deluxe in Jersey.
all right.
So those are the Jersey jackpots.
All right.
Both online and brick and mortar, and like I always tell people, this is public knowledge if you want to check it out for yourself, because it's very interesting to see what games are paying out, what games
Sure.
are constantly paying out,
And
more
which
so than
casinos
others.
are paying
and
out.
which casinos.
Yeah.
You just go to Division of Gaming Enforcement and go to what's called the Slot Laboratory.
Slot Laboratory.
And they have a list of the jackpots. As a matter of fact, at the top of the list, they always tell you how many jackpots have occurred throughout the current fiscal year, as well as how many $1 million jackpots. And we're lagging this year in New Jersey for $1 million jackpots. We've only got 2 this year so far.
Oh, wow.
We had 4 or 5 last year. So,
well, I'll get right online and
yes, there you go.
Contribute to the state of New Jersey.
Head on out and do it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we're going back now to Nevada for our next story. We have a Keno jackpot.
Keno, huh?
We have
All
not
right.
had a Keno jackpot story in quite a while, so I figured let me include this one so we can actually get the little monkey off our back for not having Keno.
Keno is an interesting thing. I know a lot of people who play Keno, they just get their numbers at the beginning of the day, walk around for the rest of the day, and then check them at the end of the day.
Yes.
I mean, did this person sit there and watch the numbers come out, or what happened?
No word on whether or not
Okay.
this guy sat there or this person sat
It's always worth getting a Keno ticket and like at the beginning of
Yes.
your session, your gambling session, and walk around and check it at the end of the day.
Well, also, certain states allow Keno outside the casinos, too.
Yeah, Massachusetts, who doesn't allow any kind of betting. It's a
but they love
strange
their
kind
Keno.
of weird thing. They got
love their
casinos, but it's they don't allow online any kind of betting. They don't allow sports betting, but you can play Keno in restaurants and bars.
You can play to your heart's content Keno anywhere you want. But here we have the El Cortez Casino. As a matter of fact, I think we had a story last week from the El Cortez detailing how many slot machine jackpots they've had over the last couple of weeks. This now we have a local player again, winning $250,000 after hitting 9 out of 10 spots on the U1 Circus Keno game.
Oh, okay.
No word on what the amount would have been if he hit 10 out of 10. But he was playing.
See, I'm used to. I don't know what that is, but I'm used to those Keno games where you fill it out. It looks like a lottery thing that you're filling out. This is that's what it is. Okay.
He wagered $13 on the video machine. Oh, it's a video machine. I'm sorry.
Oh,
it's a video Keno. He wagered $13 on the video machine and also hit the 10 times multiplier to generate a $250,000 jackpot.
Wow. Okay.
And that's with winning only 9 out of 10 spots.
Now, I've certainly never played a. What is it? What kind of video? Keno machine? A video machine?
U1 Circus Keno.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
video.
video.
No, I
it's
fill
a
out
video
the cards
Keno machine.
and I, give my money in and stuff like that.
Well, again, another Las Vegas or Nevada local winning.
Good.
Which is, most of these are actually locals except for the first 2. Last story of the week, we are going to Montreal. We have Marcel Lucer.
Good name from Montreal.
Yes. Nice.
Marcel Lucer.
He was playing the Lotto Max jackpot. As a matter of fact, he plays it every week. What he does every week is the night before the drawing, he crafts a list of everything he would do if he won the jackpot. This time he did not do that.
Okay.
So he woke up, checked the Lotto Quebec website, And according to his statements, he felt his blood pressure rising as he was reading the numbers on the screen, and found out that he had just won $70 million.
Wow! Congratulations!
$70 million on the Lotto Max jackpot, according to Lotto Quebec, the gaming authority which issues the game and monitors it. Marcel is the third person to win the $70 million jackpot in Quebec since 2020.
Wow!
And
should play lottery in Canada.
Yes.
Boy.
Yes, and he's also walking away with an additional $27,000 in secondary prizes. So I don't know what the secondary prizes
were. You won $70 million, and by the way, you also won $27,000.
Yes.
Too. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And the store where he bought the ticket received $700,000.
See, that's great.
1% of the jackpot.
Yep, that's great.
So it was kind of nice to see that he varied from his pattern and won the lottery.
Hey, I guess he found a good system.
And you want the last little coincidence for this?
What's that?
When he was employed at a company called Hydro Quebec, he's an engineer. He's a retired engineer.
Okay.
He worked in the same building the lottery company is.
Oh,
and they were handing him his large novelty check in the same office space where he worked.
That's great.
Which is kind of weird. If
See,
you think
that's
about
a nice end to the story.
Yes. So coincidence, but it's a good one.
Yep.
That's it for this week's Beating the House. Please keep the press releases coming in. We'll keep doing this segment. Casinos, lotteries, bingo parlors, poker rooms. Send them all in, and we'll make sure we hit the different jackpots each week, and we'll just continue doing the segment.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. We'll talk to you later on House of Cards.